Am I the asshole for refusing to take my sister and her kids in unless her husband stays out? Grammar. So, my F32 father passed 2 years ago. He left me and my half-sister. We both have different moms, same dad. Inheritance that was equally split between me and her. My sister spent her inheritance money in just few months. She's a STAHM with 2 kids and always had financial hardship. I haven't touched my inheritance money. I live in an apartment that I inherited from my biological mom in 2016. My sister sat me down to talk about her and her husband's current situation. She said her husband can no longer pay rent and they needed a place to stay. I asked for time to think since me and her husband don't get along. She said it was okay. The next day she showed up with her tone completely changed. She said her husband thinks I'm being manipulative by taking time to think about letting them come. And that my apartment is an inheritance and she's my sister. Therefore, I should share it with her and the kids. She said her husband also says that if I wasn't going to let my sister share the apartment then I should give her my half of my dad's inheritance, saying it's not fair since my sister doesn't work, has 2 kids and will soon be homeless, while I have a paying job, no kids, and a whole apartment to myself. I was speechless. I opened the argument by saying the apartment was from mom and mom never related to my half-sister, so she has no right to her inheritance. Also, she already had her half of dad's inheritance, so she can't touch mine just because her husbands think so. She started crying, telling me to think about my nephews. Again, parroted her husband's words, saying I have 2 options. I either let them move in or give them support money from my inheritance. I said she and the kids can move in, but her husband? No, he's banned from my place. She pitched a fit, saying she can't believe I wanted to keep the kids' father away from them. And I'm the reason they'll be homeless for refusing, but I flipped out and said that I'm not, but it's her deadbeat of a husband that she keeps repeating his nasty words instead of holding him accountable for the shitty situation they're in. I told her I won't continue to speak to her since her husband speaks for her. She left after the blow-up. Days later I discussed this with my stepmom and she said she couldn't believe I cut contact with my sister only for asking for help and that I needed to see her soon and arrange for one of the 2 options to be considered. Reminding me that innocent kids are involved even if my brother-in-law can be rude to me. But I'm standing my ground on letting him into my place after what he said. Am I the asshole? My sister is younger than me, she's 26 and her kids are 25. I love my sister, I have a good relationship with her and the kids and stepmom for years. I don't want this to ruin it now. Edit because I see this question being asked. My stepmom is now living with her family and brother-in-law has been in no contact with them, so it's unlikely to let them move with them. Edit 2 Look. I love my sister and my nephews so much. I treat my nephews as my own kids and I did help in the past because I know my sister and my nephews are struggling. However, I'm quite upset because of how she talked to me, but I know that it was her husband who was talking to me that day, not her, since she kept repeating his words. Not the asshole. Do not let them move in and take advantage of you and do not give up your inheritance. She blew the money. She can get a job. Not the asshole. Your sister made her choices. Not working, having children. Her worst choice is that she's letting her husband speak for her. You have what they want, so you are in the right to give the options to them. 1. Stay but no brother-in-law, or 2. Don't come. If the brother-in-law is a half-decent person, he'll send his family to you while he sorts himself out. Not the asshole and go for option 3. No help. She cannot afford to be a SOM and needs to get a job. Why doesn't her mother take her in? Not the asshole. They said there were only 2 options. They missed the "not your problem" option. Literally, their financial decisions are their decisions, not your repercussion. Your stepmother can take them in. They can go to a homeless shelter. Stealing your money and taking over your apartment are not options on the table. Yelling at you should automatically equal a door slamming in their faces. If your sister starts parroting the husband, slam that door. They need to deal with their lousy decisions. Not the asshole. You need to stop contact with both your sister and stepmom. It is not your responsibility to pay for their financial problems. If they don't have the money for rent, sounds like someone needs to get a job or a second job. Do not allow them to move in and do not give them money. Not your responsibility. Also, if stepmom is her mom, then she can move them in with her or finance them herself. Not the asshole. You can't let any of them in now. If you let your sister and the kids stay, as soon as you go out they'll let brother-in-law in and he'll refuse to leave. You won't be able to get him out. Your sister is as much of a leech as her husband. The kids are innocent but have crap parents. Block all of them. Not the asshole. Your stepmom is on the wrong side of this disagreement. Funny how so many people want to be generous with someone else's money. Give your sister's number to your stepmom so she can offer them her money and a place to stay. Not the asshole. Stick to your guns, babe. I'd literally laugh in my sister's face if she dropped some shit like this. When my husband split and left me and my kid to figure shit out, I didn't go looking for handouts. I got a job. It didn't pay well, but just accepting that you're going to be homeless? Nah. Not the asshole. For so many reasons. First, you are not responsible for the poor financial planning for your sister. The fact you are willing to help her out at all is a huge kindness. Second, her husband is abusive as fuck to her and through her you. So maintaining your boundaries with him is important and you are doing great with that. Third, dangling 2 kids in front of you is a dick move that she is doing and not fair to anyone. Fourth, you offered her a perfectly plausible and reasonable way to help and she declined it. So that's on her. In all. So very much not the asshole. Not the asshole first, she has 0 right to the apartment from your mother and 0 right to your half of the inheritance from your shared father. Considering the response to you literally taking a small amount of time to think about it, this gives you a glimpse into what it will be like if you say yes. She spent her inheritance and chooses to be a stay-at-home mom. Stand your ground. Not the asshole. Don't let them in, they may not leave, and I would think the husband would be there when you were not. They don't seem trustworthy at all. Not the asshole. Blood doesn't mean anything. That is money your parents gave you, and your sister is not entitled to it. She can't afford a house? Same with millions of people across the globe. I don't understand why people think because they are family they have to bend to each other's every whim. Not the asshole. Where does he get the nerves to pin their dire situation on you? You're already generous enough to let sister and her kids stay, but if they take you up on it, make absolutely sure you can trust sister not to let her husband in when you're not there. I think husband's fear is that when sister and kids are out of his reach, they'll all soon realize what an absolute clown he is, and make strides to break away from him. Hence these, "You're tearing our family apart" crocodile tears. Not the asshole. That man is a piece of work and shouldn't be allowed in your home. Not the asshole. Your sister doesn't want help. She wants a handout. There is a huge difference. She's not doing anything to help her circumstances. And all that is going to happen by you giving her money is that she's going to go through that and neither of you will have money. Stick to your guns and don't let your family force you into making her problems your problems. Not the asshole. Do not take any of them in, you will never be rid of them. If they are truly on the verge of homelessness, then both parents need to be looking for jobs and getting the kids into some subsidized childcare. None of these problems are of your making or are your duty to solve. The argumentative and "you owe us" mentality with which they've approached you here will set the tone for every waking moment of your life if you let them in. Not the asshole. You also shouldn't take in your sister and her kids. She sounds manipulative, lazy, and you'll never get rid of her. Plus, she'll invite hubby in saying, "But I live here too." If you agree to let her in, get a signed document listing all stipulations, like hubby isn't allowed out by a certain date, she provides all food and childcare for herself and kids, details of what she must clean, etc. But don't let her. Not the asshole. Info. Is your stepmother her mother? She should take her daughter, grandchildren and deadbeat husband in and leave you alone. Not the asshole. Your brother-in-law sounds like the reason your sister is in this predicament. It is quite obvious that he is an asshole based on his demands of your inheritance and how he coached your sister to parrot all of his ridiculous demands. You have no obligation to help them given the situation. What exactly does her husband do that they are so broke? It's unfortunate that the kids have to suffer also, but if your mother is so concerned, why not have the children stay with her? The children don't deserve the mess they are in, but your sister and husband don't deserve a free ride either. Your sister is very pitiful and I'm sorry she's in such a toxic relationship. However, no matter what, they are not entitled to your help nor money. Believe me when I say living with your brother-in-law will be a nightmare. Don't give in because things will escalate to the point of no return. Your sister is between a rock and a hard place and she should know she's being manipulated by her asshole husband. She probably does, but is too dependent on him to do better. It would be better for her to become more independent. I say stick to your guns. Not the asshole. At this point I'd rescind my offer. Once she is in he will come around whether you like it or not. This ends with her finding somewhere else or you kicking her out for bringing him around. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. He already doesn't respect you and he thinks making demands is going to go in his favor? I'd almost guarantee that if you let them move in, he would be hell to live with and try to take over the apartment. Stand your ground. Do not let them in. Do not let stepmom guilt you into letting them in. Ask stepmom why they aren't moving in with her. The exact same situation happened to one of my relatives a few years ago. She was supposed to help her sister, brother-in-law and their kids for a week. It's been 4 years now and she's been going through hell. Her brother-in-law thinks he's the man of the house now and the situation has been unbearable overall. Police got involved at some point but for some reason, they did nothing because it was just family issues, according to them. Your apartment is from your mom and she doesn't get a say in your inheritance money because she already wasted her share. Sucks to suck, but their situation now isn't your fault and guilt-tripping you into helping them is disgusting. Not the asshole. No, you are not. Not your problem. Two adults cannot take care of their kids in life. Do not give in. Girl, there's a third option. Stop letting her talk to you like this. She's not moving in. At this point your sister and her husband are asshole and completely delusional. She made them homeless, not you. Yes, cut contact with her. Don't discuss this with your stepmother, also delusional. Don't give her money either because she clearly blew through a ton of money. Not the asshole. If you let her in he will follow and then they will never leave. They will never pay you rent. They have no respect for your boundaries. Do with this what you will. Not the asshole. Her husband sounds like a parasite that's drained her and is moving on to you. Not the asshole. The husband is beyond reason and because of his manipulation so is your sister. Instead of taking a good hard look at her life and marriage she's deflecting and throwing you under the bus with a trail of entitlement in tow. You can't reason with the unreasonable. Not the asshole. Your sister sounds entitled. Her hardships while sad are not your responsibility. Your sister can figure her life out. You are under no obligation to share your inheritance just because she was irresponsible with hers. Not the asshole, and I can't be the one to tell you because it's your decision, but I wouldn't let that toxic sludge anywhere near me, my money, or my home. I would also threaten to call CPS if she continued to blame her children's livelihood on you. Skeptical smiley face. Your stepmom is thinking of her biological daughter's best interest, not yours. Legally your house and your inheritance are both yours. Do not let them bully you into giving up any part of it. The really annoying thing about sister's husband is that he's so stupid that he thinks his dumb controlling logic will work on everyone else. Tell her she's got 2 options. How about option 3? You fuck off and find your own money and place to live. Guy with 0 leverage who ought to be begging instead of issuing demands. Not the asshole. It's always funny when people say, there's 2 options, like there's not a third or more. Option 3. Deadbeat gets a job and supports his family. Not the asshole can't help someone who doesn't want to be helped. Her problem is her husband, and if she can't see that, she's not going to let you help her solve anything. Not the asshole. Your brother-in-law seems to be the root of their problems, and though they are going through financial hardships it's not your job to fix that. Your sister hasn't even attempted to get a job and help her own family. Honestly, if you let them move in it will be a world of drama and they will never leave. Not the asshole. Personally, nothing gets me more than kids being used as emotional blackmail. I've had crap happen where the same thing was being said. The kids are innocent in all of this and even though that is true, it is still blackmail, it is still reprehensible and you shouldn't give in. Not the asshole. Tell her that she is the one that has 2 options. Either she moves in without her husband or she figures her shit out on her own. You are caring about the kids, you are offering them a place to stay, and you are already being way too nice after what she tried to pull on you. She should ask, not demand your help. She is not entitled to either your house or your money, and tell your stepmom that she should take them all in if she is that worried. Do not let them move in. My boyfriend's brother's girlfriend let their mum move in for 2 weeks while she looked for a new place. That was 5 years ago. The girlfriend now supports her mum as well and the mum refuses to move out because she deserves to be supported. She's 45. No disabilities or anything, she's just lazy and doesn't want to work. Lol. Let them all move in with stepmom. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Not your responsibility to support able-bodied adults. Also, I would suggest adding some identity theft protection to your accounts, just in case your brother-in-law gets any ideas. Not the asshole. The only ones that are manipulative are her and her husband. You don't owe her any money or a share of the appartement. Inviting all of them into your home, including Bill, will probably result in even more conflict than this. And your stepmom saying you have to pick? Nope, she is an asshole too. Don't know if she is the biological mom of your half-sister. Anyway, maybe she should help out, not you. Just because you have a job and no kids doesn't mean you have to support her in any way. It's totally fair for you to hold on to your savings for the future. I wouldn't even take her in without the husband. She will probably invite him over the minute you are out of the house. The next day she showed up with her tone completely changed. She said her husband thinks I'm being manipulative by taking time to think about letting them come. And that my apartment is an inheritance and she's my sister. Therefore, I should share it with her and the kids. She said her husband also says that if I wasn't going to let my sister share the apartment then I should give her my half of my dad's inheritance, saying it's not fair since my sister doesn't work, has 2 kids and will soon be homeless, while I have a paying job, no kids, and a whole apartment to myself. #THEAUDACITY. Not the asshole. Your half-sister's husband is a friggin' gold digger. And manipulative as hell. It's their fault if the kids end up homeless. You owe them nothing other than birthday and Christmas gifts. Not the asshole. Do not let them take advantage of you. You can offer to buy them groceries or clothes, but I would not let it get past that. They have no means to pay you back, so they will continue to drain you while insulting you. Never let her husband anywhere near you. Not the asshole. Both, your half-sister and her husband are adults. If they ended up living on the streets, is completely up to them. Not the asshole. Do not let them in your home. If you want to meaningfully help them, and be reasonably certain that your assistance isn't being redirected elsewhere, you could buy their groceries here and there. Do not let them into your house. Do not give them your inheritance. Not the asshole. Both of them think they're entitled to what's yours because reasons. No, it's yours. If you choose to share, it's your decision. It won't be theirs. That they, specifically the husband, would try to strongarm either thing out of you means they deserve neither. Not the asshole. No one should ever be made to let someone into their home that they are not comfortable with. End of. Not the asshole. And #X200B. There's nothing wrong with being a som. When it makes sense to be one. For my situation, it's more financially sound to stay home with the kids than try to pay for childcare. But your sister's situation is not that. She needs to be looking for work if her husband isn't. She needs to be asking family for help watching the kids so she can get a job and help cover the bills. None of this is your problem. They made stupid choices with their lives and now they're reaping the consequences of those choices. I feel awful for the kids, because their innocence caught up in all this. But your sister and her spouse are the ones causing them to suffer, not you. You gave a reasonable compromise, they refused, it's not your problem anymore. Not the asshole. It's not your fault they are terrible with money, but they are not entitled to your home or inheritance. I would let them find other arrangements. If you let them in, you might be the next person to be penniless and homeless. It's a tough situation for the kids, but they need to figure this out on their own. Tough love is the best medicine.